Survival isn't about luck, it's about priorities. The rule of three is one of the most fundamental principles in survival, helping you understand what to focus on in an emergency. The rule states, you can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter in extreme conditions, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. These time frames dictate how you should approach survival, whether you're lost in the wilderness, caught in a disaster, or facing a grid-down scenario. In this video, we'll break down each aspect of the rule of three and show you how to prepare for them. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced prepper, mastering these basics is essential. Your ability to react correctly in a survival situation could mean the difference between life and death. If you're serious about survival, hit that subscribe button now for more prepping content. Every week we share new tips, strategies, and real-world survival knowledge to keep you and your family safe when SHTF. Now, let's dive into the rule of three and how you can apply it to any survival situation. 1. 3 minutes without air, the need for oxygen. Oxygen is the most immediate survival need. A lack of air can lead to unconsciousness and death within minutes. In disaster scenarios, threats to oxygen include smoke inhalation, drowning, landslides, avalanches, collapsed buildings, or even chemical attacks. Understanding how to handle these situations can keep you alive. First, know how to clear your airway. If you're choking, perform the Heimlich maneuver on yourself by thrusting your abdomen against a hard surface like the back of a chair. If someone else is choking, use abdominal thrusts to expel the object. Second, prepare for air contamination. In an urban survival scenario, smoke or toxic gases can fill the air. Keep an N95 mask in your bug-out bag and learn how to make an improvised gas mask using a wet cloth. Avoid breathing in dense smoke. Stay low to the ground where the air is clearer. For water emergencies, practice breath control and learn how to escape submerged vehicles. Panicking wastes oxygen. Controlled breathing techniques can buy you valuable seconds underwater. Air is the most overlooked survival priority because we take it for granted until it's too late. Know how to protect your ability to breathe, and you've won the first fight for survival. 2. 3 hours without shelter. Protecting yourself from the elements. Exposure to extreme temperatures can be deadly. Whether it's freezing cold, scorching heat, or heavy rain, the body can only withstand harsh conditions for a few hours before hypothermia or heat stroke sets in. Shelter is the key to survival. In cold environments, hypothermia can kill quickly. You lose body heat 25 times faster in wet clothes, so staying dry is a top priority. Learn how to build emergency shelters using natural materials. A debris hut, a lean-to, or a snow cave can save your life. Always carry a survival blanket or tarp in your bug-out bag. In hot environments, the risk is heat stroke. Seek shade, stay hydrated, and avoid physical exertion during peak sun hours. Use a reflective emergency blanket to shield yourself from direct sunlight. If you're in a desert, dig a trench to stay cooler during the day. Urban survival sheltering means finding safe places in abandoned buildings or using materials like plastic sheets or cardboard for insulation. No matter where you are, understanding shelter building is essential. Your body can only handle temperature extremes for so long. Shelter is a survival priority that can't be ignored. 3. 3 days without water. Finding and purifying water. Dehydration can lead to dizziness, confusion, organ failure, and death within 3 days. Water is non-negotiable. Always have multiple purification methods: boiling, water filters, chemical tablets, or solar distillation. Even seemingly clean water sources can contain deadly bacteria or parasites. Where to find water? In the wild, follow animal tracks, look for green vegetation, or collect dew in the morning. Flowing water is safer than stagnant water. Digging near dry riverbeds may reveal underground water. In urban environments, search for rainwater runoff water heaters, or hidden water caches. How to ration water. In extreme survival situations, reduce activity during the hottest parts of the day, drink small amounts frequently, and avoid unnecessary exertion. Food requires water for digestion, so don't eat if you're dehydrated. A well-prepared prepper never relies on a single water source. Have at least 3 ways to purify water and know where to find it in any environment. 4. 3 weeks without food. Sustaining energy for long-term survival. Food isn't an immediate concern, but after a few days, lack of calories weakens the body and mind. The key to survival is knowing how to find food when supplies run out. In the wild, learn how to forage for edible plants, fish, and trap small game. Study what grows in your area. Acorns, dandelions, cattails, and pine nuts are all nutritious and widely available. Traps and snares take time to master, but are invaluable in a survival scenario. Urban food sourcing includes dumpster diving, abandoned stores, and community gardens. Post-collapse, knowing how to barter for food becomes a vital skill. Stockpile calorie-dense foods like rice, beans, peanut butter, and honey. A long-term survival strategy should include food preservation, canning, dehydration, and fermentation. If you have land, growing perennial plants, fruit trees, berry bushes, ensures food year after year. Raising small livestock like chickens or rabbits provides a renewable protein source. You can survive weeks without food, but starvation leads to weakness and bad decision-making. Hunger won't kill you immediately, but it will make survival harder. 5. Survival is a team effort. The power of community. While self-reliance is a core survival principle, going it alone isn't always the best option. Humans have survived for thousands of years by working together, and in a true SHTF scenario, having a trusted network can mean the difference between life and death. The rule of 3 tells us that we can only survive for 3 weeks without food. But if you're part of a well-prepared group, securing and rationing resources becomes easier. A community allows for division of labor. While one person hunts or forages, another purifies water, and someone else fortifies shelter. Beyond practical survival, there's emotional resilience. Isolation can lead to depression, hopelessness, and poor decision-making. Having others around provides morale, security, and different perspectives when making critical survival choices. However, not every group is an asset. Choose your survival community wisely. Trusted family, friends, or well-prepared neighbors can strengthen your chances of survival, but untrained, unreliable, or panicked individuals can become liabilities. Forming a prepper network before disaster strikes is crucial. Survival is not just about skills and supplies. It's about who you can trust and rely on when everything falls apart. A strong team increases your chances of making it through any crisis. 6. The psychological battle. Mental resilience in survival. Survival isn't just about the body, it's about the mind. You can have all the skills and gear in the world, but if you break mentally, your chances of survival plummet. The rule of 3 should also include the rule of mental fortitude. 3 seconds to stay calm. Panic is the #1 killer in survival situations. It clouds judgment, wastes energy, and leads to deadly mistakes. The best way to combat panic? Training and preparedness. If you've practiced survival skills beforehand, your brain will default to training instead of fear. Stress can also weaken the immune system, cause dehydration, and impair decision-making. Having a survival plan, maintaining a positive mindset, and using breathing techniques can help keep you focused. Mental exercises like visualization, imagining yourself succeeding in a survival situation, can reinforce resilience. Loneliness, fear, and hopelessness can be just as deadly as thirst or hunger. Maintaining purpose, finding small victories, and keeping occupied, whether through setting small tasks or keeping a survival journal, can help. A prepared mind is a strong mind. Train yourself to adapt, stay calm, and overcome challenges. Survival isn't just physical, it's a mental game. Win the battle in your mind, and you'll win the fight for survival. 7. Adaptability, the ultimate survival skill. No survival situation is the same. One of the most crucial skills you can develop is adaptability, your ability to adjust to new and unexpected challenges. The rule of 3 might be a guideline, but real survival often requires thinking outside the box. Consider different environments. The way you find water in a desert is different from the way you find it in a forest or an urban wasteland. If you're stuck in an urban disaster, your shelter might be an abandoned car or a sewer tunnel. Knowing how to use available resources creatively is key. Improvisation is another essential skill. Can't find a pot to boil water? Use a soda can. No tent? Make one from trash bags and duct tape. The more you practice using everyday objects in survival scenarios, the better prepared you'll be. Being adaptable also means being open to learning. Don't rely on a single method. Know multiple ways to start a fire, purify water, and build shelter. If your first plan fails, a prepared mind will always have a plan B. Survival belongs to those who can think fast, stay calm, and adapt on the fly. 8. Gear versus knowledge. Why skills always win. Many preppers rely heavily on gear, but skills will always outweigh equipment. The rule of 3 highlights that survival is based on priorities, not possessions. Sure, having a survival knife, fire starter, and water filter makes things easier, but what if you lose your gear? True survivalists can make do with nothing. Take fire, for example. Anyone can use a lighter, but do you know how to start a fire with just friction? Have you practiced bow drill or flint and steel methods? Can you purify water without a filter? Could you make a shelter using only natural materials? Your brain is your best survival tool. Invest in learning skills before spending money on the latest survival gadgets. Take wilderness survival courses, practice primitive fire making, learn plant identification, and experiment with makeshift tools. Gear can break, get lost, or run out. Knowledge is weightless, unbreakable, and always with you. When SHTF, your survival will depend not on what's in your bag, but on what's in your head. 9. The importance of a survival plan. Knowing the rule of 3 is important, but without a plan, you're still vulnerable. Every survivalist needs a clear, well-thought-out survival strategy. A good survival plan starts with risk assessment. Identify what threats you're most likely to face. Are you preparing for natural disasters, societal collapse, or being lost in the wild? Each scenario requires different preparations. Next, establish rally points, communication methods, and escape routes. If you're bugging out, have a primary, secondary, and tertiary location. If you're bugging in, ensure your home is fortified, stocked, and defensible. Regular practice and drills are also essential. Can your family set up a shelter in under 30 minutes? Can you start a fire under stress? Can you find and purify water quickly? Test your skills before you actually need them. A plan only works if you train for it. Make sure everyone in your group knows what to do, where to go, and how to survive. When the moment comes, hesitation can cost lives, but a well-rehearsed plan can save them. 10. Survival is a lifestyle, not a hobby. The rule of 3 teaches us what truly matters in a survival situation. Air, shelter, water, and food form the core of our survival priorities. But mental strength, adaptability, skills, and planning complete the equation. Survival isn't just about preparing for a doomsday event. It's about building a resilient lifestyle. The more you integrate survival skills into your daily life, the more second nature they become. Knowing how to filter water, start a fire, or find food should be as instinctual as breathing. Take the next step. Train in real conditions. Go camping with minimal gear. Test your ability to find water and build a shelter from scratch. Practice makes the difference between panic and confidence when disaster strikes. If you've learned something valuable today, hit that subscribe button and join the Doomsday Prepper community. We break down survival tactics, prepping strategies, and real-world scenarios to help you stay ahead. Survival is about being prepared, not scared. Stay ready, stay vigilant, and I'll see you in the next video.